we pull a groundhog out of a stump, and it tells us whether we're going to have 6 more weeks of winter or not. And little bastard said, 6 more weeks of winter for you fucks.
Is that what happened? I missed all of that this morning.
Yep.
I totally forgot that it was Groundhog Day. To be fair,
right? We'll see what happens. Weather's been fucking wild, and it's going to continue to be. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're going to get into it in a minute. Welcome to the Snobby Boys.
I get those goosebumps every time. I need the hype. Throw that to the side. I get those goosebumps every time. Every time. Every time. Every time.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Snobby Boy Podcast. I'm your host, Colby. That's my homeboy, Joe, over there. And we got a guest on, dude.
Super excited to have him on today.
Super excited about that. Before we introduce him, make sure you hit the like, make sure you hit the subscribe, make sure you hit the notification bell, make sure you're following us on social media. We're no longer on BlueSky anymore, so don't follow us there. I need to take that out of the top. Yeah. Today sucked a little bit, but we're gonna discuss it with a good lad of ours. He comes to you from the Not in My Lifetime podcast. We have for you Luke.
Hey guys, you right?
Yeah, you know.
We're in it together, boys. We're in it together. It sucks.
Yeah,
Everybody's feeling it, but we're all together feeling the effects of a shitty match. So we lean into each other and to the city community, hopefully with your boys, and you go through it together. It is what it is, man. Sometimes you got to take one on the chin.
Yeah, quite a lot actually.
What's up, bruh? I want some of that salsa. Give me that salsa,
George.
Bro.
George is out in Arizona, so he's got that good like Latino food out there.
Right, bro, it's next level out there. It really is. And he's making his own homemade salsa. I just found this out, so I'm like, I got to promote
here for that energy.
Even though I have
absolutely.
This is a blind promotion, by the way. I've not tried it yet. I hope that I get the chance to, though, because it looks very tasty. Yes, Sonoran dogs. Those are another thing that's a Tucson exclusive, though. So Joe, what are we waffling on again? What are we doing
today? And in this episode with our main man Luke, we will be rapping about the Arsenal match. Fun times there. Then after we are done discussing that fun match, we will jump into some of the happenings that have gone on in the city and community news since our last show on Wednesday. And then the last little bit, we'll spend time just chatting up the three of us and with you guys in the comments and see what conversation springs from there. What up, girl?
What's up, girl?
Hey, Alex.
Wait, whoa. I thought she was at a wedding. Are you watching?
Oh, I feel for her. watching an airport. Bloody hell, 5-1. Oh, God, I feel for her. Honestly, that must have been a nightmare.
Facts.
No, it was not. We will be talking about it.
Over, mate. White flag. Randa, I'm done.
So typically we jump in with the reviews, starting with our initial reactions when the team and everybody drops the starting lineup. So I think the biggest two pieces probably that popped for everybody was Ortega was back between the pipes and Eddie was not in the match day squad at all, picked up a knock of some kind and was not able to play. And then Kevin, starting off on the bench. He was not in the starting 11. We saw Marmouche in there again. Same starting back four, which is nice to see from match to match. That does not happen very often for us. But Luke, what did you think when you first saw the lineup come across? What thoughts popped in your head?
I had an opinion for a while though that I think with Nunez at right back and players like that, it is what it is. Like, we all know what we need. We all know what needs to be sold on and bought in. So I really thought, well, look, no matter what we've got here, it's what we've got. I'd rather fit and Doku, but we've got what we've got. Who's available right now? Obviously, Edison big injury was annoying because last week against Chelsea, obviously we played long ball and it worked really well, and must have had that back again against Arsenal, but it just kind of like thought, all right, is what it is. Yes, my issues there. So Savinho, I want to see both of them together anyway. I love Foden and Haaland, but I think for me, it's more the fact is I thought, how is this team going to respond to a setback? Because that's been an issue for a long time. And today, as it proved once again, with setbacks, the team cannot respond well to them. They cannot, which is really
the previous struggles through the end of fall and into early winter, where it was between their ears again. It cropped up today. As soon as first part of the game, easy giveaway by Akanji and starts off on the wrong foot. And then as soon as we equalize and we get a little momentum going, it just cascaded on us again. So it felt like very much a repeat of what had happened back in the fall when we were going through a rough patch. I mean, we had put together some performances recently with getting results, but today was definitely a step back. Colby, when you saw the lineup, what were some thoughts that popped up in your head?
I was optimistic, actually. I thought, with Marmouche on and Bernie and Foden and Savinho, I really thought the attack was going to be rapid and much more direct. It wasn't. It was the same old fucking song and dance, same recycle at the corners bullshit. I did notice that Vitter Hayes was actually in the lineup, so that was exciting to see. Although I didn't expect him to get any time in this one. It was probably more or less just a welcome to the Premier League. This is what it looks like from this angle. Get used to it. But also Kevin on the bench. I think a lot of people have been screaming about his time being reduced. And for this match, it seemed to fit just because, if we were to, in which we did, go down, at least we have his veteran presence to come on and maybe try to change up some things. Obviously, that did not happen, but clearly Eddie not being between the pipes was, damn it.
That was the big one that stuck out to me because he's been playing very well, and as soon as he was not there, the shakiness with any kind of pass backs, any kind of possession because the mistakes all happened for me anyways, from what my perspective. This might not be true. This is just how I see it. They were very unsure of what to do when they were pressed. Typically, when Eddie's back there, if they're getting pressed, they know they have an outlet pass to him and he'll take care of it. They didn't want to pass it back to Ortega today, which led to all of the damn giveaways in the midfield because they know he's just not the same player as Eddie is, which is understandable. I get it. But man,
how again, they're pressed, but they're not slow up front either.
No, they're quick. They have good fresh legs. They're hungry. They want to beat us. They have a chip on their shoulder and we're in their heads, and they took care of business, so kudos to them. But their antics and behavior once again shows how much we are living rent-free in their heads.
Isn't, you fucking clown? Go get fucked somewhere else, you little bitch. Sorry, dude. I'm not in the fucking mood today, and I'll fucking destroy you in front of everybody.
That's also not true.
Yeah.
It's gonna be one of those days, Luke. It's gonna be one of those days,
one
bro.
of them days if you rub me the wrong way.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go ahead and get him.
Yeah, I already
I
fucking
do
hate
it.
that.
I won't do a review on the game. I usually do a review about tomorrow anyway. I forgive me about a day to sort of just chill and I can sort of just really look at it then. But because people, look, it's what they do now. Like, they won 5-1 and they're going to start mouthing off, aren't they? Because they beat us. The thing is, it's annoying because the one team you want to lose 5-1 to is them lot. Because United are terrible, but Arsenal are going to use that against us now until we beat them properly. That scoreline. Which I don't look. Is it 1-0 anyway? So I couldn't care in that regard. But in terms of the result, it's going to be annoying in comment sections now for the next few weeks. It's going to be doing that constantly now for the next few weeks. So it's their own fault though. It's their own fault that happened. It's their own fault that we're in this mess. We can't sit here and it's not like it's a referee decision or a red card that's 5-1. We literally gave them that game. And the old team, or the old team with a DM sitting there, would not have lost that badly, or even probably lost, probably. But that's where we are right now, sadly.
What they do when they lose is immediately cry foul about the referees, about decisions, about unfair bullshit, about the ball being different. It's the Carabao Cup ball is not the same. So we fuck off Arteta with that bullshit. So what we're not going to do is pretend and hide behind poor refereeing or just unlucky shit. We were not good enough today. They were in the second half. They beat our ass. It is what it is. We take our lumps and we move on. They can. I wrote this down to myself. This was their fucking Super Bowl. They can enjoy this win for the next couple of weeks. But at the end of the day, they're not winning any trophies. They're not going to beat Liverpool for the title. They're not going to win the Champions League. We have won all of those trophies recently, multiple times, except for the Champions League. So I'm not that arsed about it. To be fair, it sucks that we lost. We've won we've done things over the past 8-9 years that they would never dream of completing or doing. So I don't care if they want to run their mouths, if they want to use Holland's celebration when they score their first fucking ever goal for their club. Lewis Skelly, I'm looking at you. Nobody cares. Gabriel running in his face as soon as the first goal was scored, like he did anything about it. Y'all enjoy yourselves. We're going to be concerned with winning actual meaningful trophies down the line. Yeah. Probably not this year, but that's why we have next year. That's why we have next year.
You're certainly not winning the fucking Champions League either. So
God,
that's what I'm saying.
We're not either, by the way. We're not either.
Yeah.
No way.
No, yeah, of course not.
No way. You can't lose it after 5-1, and Madrid are going to have it. Madrid aren't good themselves. They lost to Espanyol yesterday, but they
lost Tony Rudiger too for a bit, so we'll see what happens there.
Yes, they did.
That's the thing. Yeah, I know, but if we get further, if we get past them, like Leverkusen or Atletico Madrid.
Yeah. I'm not counting my eggs at all. It's just we've won before. We will win in the future.
Oh, we will. Yeah.
Arsenal can enjoy this little moment in the sun for themselves because they beat us, but we have bigger fish to fry down the line.
We do, 100%.
So.
One of those days that you just hate is like 5-1 loss. I just think, oh, for God, because you got to sit on that now for however long. You got to you want to beat them and sort of get revenge on them, but you got to wait a whole season now to get them again at some point. So but this kind of result only fuels you to want to go and beat them and get revenge next year. I want a vengeance tour. Every Tottenham, United, Liverpool, I want everyone to get beaten next year. Next season's team needs to be ready to go again, not just for the league, but to settle some scores. This season's going to be hungry because
like the cutthroat city again, where we just go in and batter fucking people after and with no mercy. With no mercy.
Exactly, because
right,
that's what we should do.
Yeah.
But the issue is now is that I think for me, I don't care about where we are in terms of a title race now. I care about where we are as a club and as a team. Forget the result. The result has been the results have been there all season. Sporting, other games I found off the top of my head, I'm sure I'll think of in a bit. United, New Tottenham at home. It's been a constant thing all season. So it isn't a surprise to me that this keeps happening. But what shocks me is how so easy our team drops the ball or just they lose their heads so easily. That's one thing we're always good at, managing games, staying resolute, staying together as a team. Even when we didn't have players that are injured, still found a way to like get through games. That's gone now from this team, and it baffles me. Like even like equality, if I can understand, but up here it's just it goes so quickly now, and it's sad because I want to trust my team to like hold their own. I'm not asking them to win every game because it's football. It doesn't always happen. But I asked them to put effort in and to keep it up and constantly go for it. Even if you don't win the game, it is what it is. We go again next game.
Mm-hmm.
But today was just a low point because it's just like it's Arsenal fine, but anyone who beats us 5-1, it's just makes you want to like reevaluate a lot of things. And look, the summer's big, but to me, today was a real low point today.
I think it shows the value and importance of two people in particular in the squad. Ruben Diaz and Rodri are irreplaceable players because of their presence, their calming nature, their leadership, their voice on the pitch. As Kevin is phenomenal. He's a great captain. He's a great leader. He's just not the guy that's going to rah people up. And sometimes he gets in his feelings at times. Rodri and Ruben are fucking steady Eddie all the time when they're out there. And when you're missing those two pieces, that cannot be understated. And at this point, we've all seen how the season has gone. And this year has shown how important those two players are to our success. Oh,
What happened?
Looks like his maybe internet cut off because he just kind of left all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But
it was funny because I clicked something at the same time, and I was like, I didn't do that.
I didn't put
It wasn't me. I didn't do that.
That and I get Mono, if I'm saying that correctly. That we gave them the game, like we said earlier. Kanji set the tone in the first 2 minutes just with a awful decision. Phil could not pick a pass out to save his life for like within like the pretty much the whole second half. He was just not there. And Raya, to his credit, kept out some amazing goals in the first half that could have changed the game. But I put it in our notes, like there were some moments in the first half where we were, aside from gifting them a couple of chances, we were the better side in the first half. And then second half came out, started looking a little better. Haaland puts one in after, Savinho does a great job with a little underlapping run and one-time right-footed cross, puts on a plate for Haaland. And you think, hey, maybe we're, at least going to get something out of this game. And then less than a minute later, Partey's hitting a fucking shot and it deflects off John Stone's back and wrong foots Ortega, who doesn't have an opportunity to really save it because he's expecting the ball to go one way and it goes the other. And we're immediately back under the fire. And after that point, it was like, I think we all knew what was going to happen and where the game was going to go at that point. So it's just like, when it rains, it pours. And for us this season, that's just the story of our season so far. When shit's going wrong, it just cascades and continues on. And we just don't have it in us right now to stem that tide when shit starts going that way.
Well, I do want to make note of something, though, that shows a lot about a person. John Stones, in the post presser, he took accountability for his own actions and for the team. Mm-hmm. How often do you see anybody take accountability for themselves, let alone for their entire squad? Mm-hmm. I think that says a lot about him, guys. And we've said in recent weeks, like, he could be a casualty. Shows a lot of leadership, and I hope that shows I hope that shows something to people beyond the game.
Yeah,
absolutely, I mean? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. He's somebody we've also missed significantly during the season. As great of defenders as we have back there, when everybody's fit and healthy, we don't have a guy like him who can pass the ball like he can from a defensive position. His ability to spray balls, long balls, chips over the top, switching the field with long balls like that, we don't have guys who do that on a regular basis. And not having him back there for a long period of time has definitely impacted the squad too. So when you're missing some of your key pieces up the middle as a six, the sixth position in Pep's system is probably the most important, one of the most important players to have. We don't got one of those. Center backs are asked to do so much in this system that Pep runs, and we've been rotating them in and out every 2 matches, it seems like. And when you're missing 3 or 4 of them at a time, this is the kind of shit that happens. So having Johnny back and performing, I still was like, anytime they hit a long ball and he had to turn and run and chase, I still kind of like cringed a little bit because I was anticipating him pulling up and with a muscle injury or something like that. But I just, it's refreshing to have him back in and having him be the guy that comes out and says that kind of stuff and takes ownership over it. You have to respect that, and you have to really enjoy having a player come out and say that kind of stuff. So I'm very thankful that he decided to do that today.
Yeah, I know. It's just, it's the thing is, right, I don't blame him today. I think he actually wasn't that bad. The issue is for me is that it wasn't an individual player that cost us. It was mistakes. Like Foden for the second goal. What are you doing? You've just scored a goal like at 1-1. Settle the game down. Simmer it down again. Go again. Get the second possible. But the way you just haphazardly passed the ball out, I thought that's so unlike us. Like, I know we've been doing it recently, but to go 1-1, especially a moment at the Emirates, go 1-1, to a big game, good goal as well. Great bit of play between Foden, Savinho, and Haaland. But then just all of a sudden, then just give it away like that, and straight away I knew after that it was over, because the fact is the players did not settle down. They can't settle themselves anymore. Like, they feel like they're so erratic, and that's unlike us. So like the Pepper season, it wasn't really that bad. Like, I know we lost Leicester and Everton 4-2 and 4-0, but games more the fact that we were just a new team with like players, that old players and new players. It was getting used to the system. This team is full of experienced players. Not all of them are obviously emotions as if new to this team, but most of them are experienced players. Getting so easily just heads just drop. Like, I'm fine with losing. The way you lose it also matters, and the way they just lost that game, it's so unlike us, and that's what baffles me. The fact that we can't settle ourselves down into a game, work hard, and just see what happens. But yeah, that's the hard part of me. This game.
Two thoughts for me there. First one, Luke, I'm not sure if you've watched Ted Lasso before or not. So if you have,
great show.
We need Sharon. We need a sports psychologist to come into this squad and help these guys mentally get through this block, because so many of our guys have the Y word that we don't say out loud. You know what I mean? And then the other thought that I had was with Phil, you cannot play a loose pass in the middle of the field like that. That is the one place you do not do that. Across any real sport, that's the most dangerous area. Colby, I'm sure you've watched the Mighty Ducks. Yes, all 3 of them.
All 3.
Where do you not clear the puck, Charlie Conway? Up the damn middle. You don't do that. And he just played on a silver platter. But on the same token, that's exactly where a 6 is supposed to be sitting, waiting to receive that pass to link up play. Nobody to be found. Kova's nowhere around there. Normally, Rodri's sitting right there to clear all that shit up. A proper 6, somebody who has that in their DNA to sit in that spot and not get caught too far forward or too wide, is sitting there to receive that pass. But Phil, we've not had a Rodri in that spot for a very long time at this point. It's been a long time since Rodri's played for us. You cannot play that pass right there at all. Like, just hit it long, smack it long, kick it out of bounds, anything but play a soft pass into the middle of the pitch where there's nobody to cover. Because at that point, the back line is just the 4 of them. And if one of them steps, that creates a very large opening. They just have to do a slip pass in, and they're in. So the back line is doing pretty much what they have to do. They're trying to hold the line. They're trying to block up space. to John's credit, he got a block on it. It just happened to deflect in the wrong space. So it's just like it's just incredibly frustrating to have the guys that we have on the bench not able to play for us and see us struggling so badly. So, but what we can't do, like we talked about previous before the show came on, and what we've been harping on, is we cannot, as a fan base, collectively start slagging off the players and finding guys to point fingers at as to why we are the way we are right now. It's a collective team failure at this point, from the players up to the front office and as fans. The only thing that's going to help in this scenario is continued support. You can criticize. There's no reason. You can say, hey, you know what, this wasn't quite good enough. That was probably not the right decision. But it's not okay to just straight bash players at this point and look for guys to blame, because that just separates people, and that's just not okay. We can't do that as fans, and I guarantee you the players aren't doing that. They're nipping that shit in the bud if any of it's happening. Case in point, John Stones.
People who do that to players probably do that in real life. Like, they probably don't know how to take accountability for themselves. So. I'm sorry.
This is true.
I'm gonna be on one today, guys. I'm not in a good mood. The result didn't make it any better. So, yeah.
Did you feel like KDB and McAtee should have came on a little sooner, or 20 minutes was probably good? It wouldn't have made any difference, I'm sure, but
I mean, I don't know. I don't even know at this point, because I see a broken player after a broken player after a broken player.
Yeah.
The issue is, for me, is not the attack. Never has been the attack issue. It's the defensive midfield area, and defense kind of as well. But the end position, Gundogan and Bernardo Kovacic are too old. They can't do it, and they're not them kind of players. They're not tall enough to do that role. We need someone who can come in there. Not saying Rodri, someone who's a bit taller, can hold the ball up and control and dictate and give a bit of cover to that defense. I'm not saying we'll win everything again like that, but we'll win a lot more games by having someone sitting there, allowing us to press forward and transition from defence to attack. Because playing out from the back today was a disaster. It was an actual disaster. I couldn't believe what I was seeing at times. I know Arsenal could do it as well, but we're the master of this, and we become so terrible at it now. Like, under pressure, just the players can't know what to do. Whereas the past, we always had someone sitting there ready to ball on the attack. That's just gone, this team now. It's gone. And before we get back to the titles again, we've got to find a way and relearn how to play our game again. That's the only way. We've got to have a kind of like a crisis, not meeting, but a crisis of just, as in where we got to get better, how we can sort of start playing football again and enjoying it again, and then go back there. Because I think it's not as simple as buying players in that easily. It's more than that now. Because it was similar to buying players in, you win a lot more games than you will lose them. Mm-hmm. But it's clearly, I mean, you can't see Gonzalez and Cambiasso if they do come in saving our season. It'll help a little bit. It will help, but not anything.
Cambiasso's hurt.
Especially up here.
Even if Cambiasso came in, he's not even a straightaway plug-in because he's hurt. So it's like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. Doesn't matter how hard we try. This just isn't our season, guys.
Yeah.
I think everybody just needs to realize and be okay with the fact that we're not going to be what we've been for the last 7 or 8 seasons. And that's okay.
And that's okay. Yeah, that part. That's all right. It's all right. That we have been on such a high for so long. This is a natural course of events where there's going to be a dip. And again, it sucks that we lost 5-1, but our dip still isn't as bad as what the other big six, I'm doing that in air quotes who are listening, have experienced when they've had their bad run. They fell even farther than we have. We're still in 4th. We're still in Champions League position. I'm not expecting a deep run in the Champions League, but we're still there. We're still in the FA Cup. These other clubs, that when they've had their dips, they crashed out of those competitions early and were not in Champions League positions. So even as bad as it's been, it's still better than what other clubs have experienced. So there's still hope in what we have and what we have to go forward. It's just this. They said, and you hear it on the commentary all the time. Today's just Arsenal's day, or it's just not City's day today, or it's just not whoever's day today. For us, it's just this season is going to be a tough one for us, and everybody will be in a better place mentally if you just accept that going into matches and don't expect to win and just be like, hey, I'm just watching today. I hope we win, but if we don't, that's okay. And I'm just here to support the guys on the pitch, and I'm not going to get myself worked up, because you'll be in a better place that way, because that this season's just not going to be a typical City season for us, a typical recent City season, because typical City in the past has meant something very different. But typically for the past 9 years, been a very good season for everybody. And you take your lumps sometimes, and it is what it is at this point.
Shout out Jean-Philippe Mateta, though.
Bagged a brace in the second half.
Keeping them dirt bags right where they belong. No. There's nothing more that we can do. We can sit here and bang on drums and beat our chests and do all these things. Like I said, like Joe said, I think Luke kind of agrees with us for the most part. I mean, the only thing that we need to focus on at this point is set ourselves up for next season. Let's focus on start setting ourselves up for next season, so that way we can have a clearer picture of what our objective is, rather than coming in with less than a quarter tank of gas in every single one of these players' tanks from match week 1. If we can, I don't know how many people are really about the whole Club World Cup. 3 of us were talking about it prior to coming on. And do we take this seriously? I don't think so. I don't want to. I don't care, personally. For the lot of us, I mean, it's just like, yeah, it's great. It's competition. It's coming to America. It's going to help bolster the sport. But at the end of the day, our team and the progress and its fan base and their happiness is more important than coming to America and winning a trophy. Especially when we're not even going to be wearing the color blue while we're here. That also upsets me. I don't know why.
The special kits that they're going to have for it,
the black and white and the salmon and black, whatever that is. No, thank you. Yeah, shout out for stopping in. I mean, that's literally what we've been saying.
Yeah. It's gotten into everybody's heads, and again, they're human beings, so that happens to people, man. Like sometimes you are just not in a good headspace.
Tummy's tickled. That was funny.
That's a good one. That's a good line. I like that one, Michael.
Tummy's tickled.
Yeah, it's certainly alarming. So now it's just like I said, let's get if we haven't already, get a sports psychologist in. Let's get some people in here to help these guys mentally, because they're not feeling like their usual selves. And again, you're human. I get it. I go through periods too where I just am not my usual self, and I don't feel like responding to people via text messages and all these kind of things, and I just kind of want to shut myself away. And I guarantee you, athletes feel that same way, but they don't have an option. They got to go out and play the game. That's what they got to do. Especially when you don't have other people. Yeah, and you don't have people, especially whether you've got injuries the way we do. If they don't go out there and play, not a lot of other options, first team options to pick from at this point. So you accept that, and you feel for the guys, because you can see it in their body language still, even after games where we've done really well and they start feeling like a little bit better than they have been. That's like a momentary high where they're like, hey, this feels great. But then they go back to usual day to day, and they probably still feel a certain kind of way about whatever's going on in their lives, personally, professionally, whatever. So you accept that they're human beings. They're probably all feeling very down about the way the season's going. And as a fellow human with compassion and empathy, I understand where they're all coming from. And I'm not going to ever put too much on a guy if they're not feeling up on themselves, because I've been there, and it doesn't help anybody to continue tell them how bad they're playing or performing when they already feel like shit about probably themselves as it is. That doesn't fix. Exactly. Plenty of other people do it. You won't catch us doing that here on the Snobby Boys podcast. So But Luke, you're spot on, man. The midfield is the issue right now. As weird as that, I told you guys pre-show, when you give up 5 goals, typically the first ones you look at are the goalie and the defenders. And for me, all season, it's not really the defenders haven't been there. We actually had some today, but they were getting left hung out to dry by everybody else on the pitch all game long. It was Yoshko, Akanji, and Stones against 3 or 4 dudes every counterattack. And there's only so much you can do when you're outnumbered like that. So I'm not going to bang on the defenders. It's the midfield, the lack of legs, athleticism, and a little bit of size, physicality, and presence is 100% the problem at this point. If we're going to have the options that we have for a holding mid with Kova, Gundo, sometimes Bernie today, you have to keep 2 of them in that space, and you cannot let them just roam wherever they want. They have to stay there and clog up that space, because those 3 in particular can't do the job by themselves. They need more help. So we can't keep running them out there and letting just one of them do the job. They have to do it together, and they got to be reeled in, because too often Kova's like just drifting. Bernie's everywhere on the pitch, and then there's nobody there to cover.
Yeah.
So it's every fucking where.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how.
Chill out.
It doesn't matter if you've got Diaz at the back as well. At the end of the day, right, the defense can be the best defense possible we've had at the club. The midfield is the issue. The amount of times you get ran through, doesn't matter how many times you defend, eventually goals will go in.
Yep.
So that, and it's what baffles me is how long it's taken us to get midfielder sorted out. It's tomorrow's deadline day, and we're still haggling around. That should have been a priority.
The first one.
First one should have been a midfielder. Then you get it right back in. Now, look, they're wrong. I like Husnov and Vitor Hayes. Long term, they were good for us.
Mm-hmm.
But we need players in now who can fit. Because I'm not asking for a world class one. I get you won't get that really unless you pay the £100 million plus for that position. But the very least I want to see is a bit of like cover. Because they need it. We like Kovacic and Bernardo Silva, a good one, are being held out to dry because they're not 6s.
They're not exactly,
8. And you're never gonna be 6s because Bernardo's too small. Kova hasn't got the strength to do it. A good one's 34.
Yep.
So
there were multiple times today where Kova had the ball, got knocked off it fairly. It wasn't a foul because he's just not. The presence, the physical presence, just isn't there to keep possession of the ball. Rodri that's why he's the perfect fucking 6. That's why he's the Ballon d'Or winner, because he's got everything you could possibly want in one person who happens to be 6'3", who happens to be quick and fast and strong and have any pass that he could possibly want in his locker. That's why he's so important. That's why he won the damn award over Vinny. This whole season, I said it before on the show, this whole season is further evidence as to why he is the most important player on our squad and also so deserving of the Ballon d'Or. So
100%.
Anybody who says that he wasn't deserving is just being a Real Madrid something that I'm not going to say out loud.
He's proven.
Colby, if you said something, I couldn't hear you, my guy.
I said less salt, please.
Yes, exactly. Precisely.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I mean, at this
I
point,
think-
we all know what it is. Take it on the chin. Move on to Leighton.
Yeah.
There's nothing else that can be said that can't be said over and over and over again.
No.
It just is what it is. We have got to lower the expectations. We aren't City. We aren't City from 6 years ago. We're not City from last year. We're not City from 2 years ago, 3 years ago. This is City this year. We accept it. We need to take it like men on the fucking chin, and women for those that are in here. Take it on the fucking chin and just roll with it, man. That's all it needs to be.
That's it right there.
Facts. Because
the
issues are all there. We know what they are. Just have to get on with it until the end of the season. It sucks, but that's what it is, isn't it?
You make a very good point, actually, and this is something we've kind of talked about loosely in the last couple of episodes, and suffice it to say, I mean, Pep Pep is a gatekeeper to his squad, and I mean he has the right to do that, and I totally understand it. But you have a very valid point. Like anytime there's a new player that comes in and doesn't do quite the job that we want him to, you don't see him in rotation onto the squad or the starting 11 for like 8 weeks, and then he might give him a chance again, and that's even if, and then I mean, this is a bit speculative, but we said it last episode. I mean, like he's going through a lot mentally right now, so trust is probably circling around his head in a very awful way. Um, and he's just not trusting certain players to do the job because he knows he has these players that have done the job. He does need to let that go a little bit. It is hindering us a bit because we're not getting a full spectrum on who these players really are. Young players are going to make mistakes. None of them are going to be crystal clear or crisp. It's just not going to happen. That's called maturing. You know, we couldn't go out and buy a bunch of 24 to 29-year-olds and expect to make this team anything. Moreover, the fact having everybody up in our ass for spending big swaths of money on players in that age range. It's always a double-edged sword. No matter what we do, it's good for some people, it's bad for the others, and then it'll flip-flop. It's out of our control for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
It just needs to, we see it with Pep. We need to kind of let Pep be human. Sucks to say. I know this is a professional sport. I know there are expectations. I know that winning does matter. Winning does matter. But at the end of the day, we can't have our cake and eat it too year in and year out. It's just not been like that. We're a special case. The last time it happened was when? United? We have to be
A long time ago.
for the fact of where
Yeah.
exactly. We have to be thankful for where the fuck we are. Because we're miles above other clubs, regardless of what today's result was or how we've been doing the season.
100% correct.
We'll just think the last time that we didn't win a league title, we went for because we humbled ourselves, realized what went wrong, fixed it, won again. I think that this summer, right, we know it's going to be a huge one. And for me personally, I don't care who really goes anymore. At this point, like, people who want to be here and fight, you can stay. If I move on, fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
But Haaland wants to fight. He's here for the whole. Foden have got to see improve massively. Like, he's been good hit and miss this season, but he's to start stepping up now. Because today was terrible, but he's had games where he actually played pretty well. I thought Chelsea, it probably against Chelsea, but it's very on and off games for him. It's not a very consistent season for him. And we've got to see him get back to a good level again. Not asking for the last season levels, but a level that we know we can play. So for really this team, I know who wants to fight and who wants to keep going, but I'm kind of at the point now, like, what? Everyone's playstyle is up for grabs. It is. There's no guarantees anymore in this team. If you want to be here next season, you've got to fight.
But
that's the way it should be, too.
But Pep needs to put the fear of God into the players by saying that.
Yeah,
there is evidence that that's not the case right now.
He's got to start doing it now.
Exactly. Stop being selective. We understand where the fuck we are. Make some changes. See what the fuck happens.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we can do.
Yeah.
That's really all we can do from here. Let's go to break real quick. And then when we come back, we've got a fucking laundry list of city news that we're gonna roll through. And definitely be getting your guys' takes. We're also going to be there's one part of this that we're going to focus on too. It was the McAtee post-match interaction that happened from a fan's father. And coming from a couple of dads, we've got some thoughts. about some things. So we'll be right back. All right. Told you to be right back. Starting off on the news this week, Chloe Kelly believes City planted stories about her wanting to depart.
She is officially off to Arsenal.
Yeah.
Interesting timing for all this. Clearly, her and Gareth Taylor do not get along, have not gotten along for a while, and that is the driving force behind all of this. I don't believe the club was doing the things she's accusing them of. I think it's a lot of people are in their feelings because they care a lot about their career and or club.
Fairly evident with her remarks in regards to being able to be selected for the squad for England. So,
right, yeah. So it's unfortunate it came to an end like this because she was a very important player for us for a good stretch there. But again, one player is not above the club. So if you're not happy here, if you want to go someplace else, if you're not getting along with the manager, much like Cancelo did not get along with the manager, we will find someplace else for you to be. And we just brought in fucking Caroline from Brazil. She's a former NWSL MVP. She is a absolute stud of a footballer. Her, Bunny, and Lauren Hemp on the other wing. I mean, sorry, Kelly. Like,
can I ask you a question quickly?
Yeah.
About the women's team. Do you think Gareth Taylor's good enough to get us titles? Because we're at that point now where we've got good enough, let's say, strike force now because of Bunny and Miedemar. Mm-hmm. I think today for me, I mean, it's an agenda. I'll give them enough time. I think last season was annoying because last season should have been a title win last year, and not having a backup striker, the money threw us that season out the window.
Mm-hmm.
Now, don't get me wrong, got Miedemar in now, but we're now fourth now, having lost to like United. I'm going to ask you both this: like, do you give him to the end of the season, or do you sack him now?
Here's the question. Who replaces him? Who's in
line?
No,
it's a good point. That's what I mean. Yeah,
because as it stands right now,
the pick to have.
There's not a massive pool of A, women's coaches, and B, ones that are the ones that are good. They're not even available. They're within the the NWSL or within the the league over there. It's just like, where do you start looking? You know what I mean? And I have faith that City can course correct this, but do I think Gareth Taylor should be the gaffer right now, considering where we've been teetering with this line, where we're almost over it and we can almost win, but we never fucking do for the ladies? I think it's time for him to go.
Yeah, I would probably lean in the same direction with keeping him around throughout the rest of the season. I don't think there's a manager that you're going to bring in right now that's going to change the course of the rest of the season for them. But last year, fucking Steve.
Thank you for coming in. We needed you so bad today.
Yeah,
we need Steve. We need Steve. We need positivity. We need desperately.
Last year was the year for me. We had everything lined up. Chelsea was in a beatable spot. We had them on the ropes, and we let them back in the door and let them get it across the line. This year, it was like, hey, we fixed the issue from last year. We got a backup striker. We got a little more depth in that position, and now we're in a worse spot. I know there's been injuries. There's been people. Bunny's been out a lot. Miedema has been out for a bit. We haven't had our full complement for a long time. But I think we have enough to be far more competitive than we are. And I just don't know if he's the guy to push us forward beyond this season. Chelsea's making fucking moves. They've just signed a lot of fucking people. They're not slowing down like I thought they might after losing Emma Hayes. They just, oh my God. You should have been in here 45 minutes ago, brother. We needed this earlier.
You're so late. I needed you 45 minutes ago real bad. You could have scared somebody off for us too. No.
I think we let him see out the season, and then we changed gears in the summertime.
It's mad because I've watched Chelsea's window, right? They've got Welsh and they've got Germa, who's a good player, by the way. I like watching him. She's a good player from. Is it?
She's from
San Diego?
the Wave. Yeah, she's from the Wave. And
yeah. So it's mad how 800k is the record signing for a women's player. Look at men's football was like £250 million for Neymar. It's mad how different the money scale is, but the fact that we're close to the first million women is pretty mad historical stuff that's going on there. But Chelsea, for me, Chelsea are the best team by far. Clearly, winning every game. They look like a great team. We should be second, really, of our team. At least push them towards obviously the league year. But I just keep thinking with the amount of games that we kind of lost, like 4-3, 4-2 at United, it's not consistent enough. It's like us right now with the men's team, similar situation. Goals being far too much, obviously more going in. So it's similar. I wouldn't say this bad, but similar sort of stuff going on with the goals. Yeah. It's a weird one.
Yes, definitely bitter. And what Michael said about the similar situation in the midfield. We're lacking a little bit of presence and size in the midfield for both squads. All of our midfielders on both sides are a little bit on the more shifty side, we'll say. They're more quick, dynamic in that direction. They're not quite the presence as we might need at times, because it's not all about athleticism. Okay, this sport, you can be the GOAT as Messi and not be a 6'2", 180-pound rock of a dude like Ruben Diaz. You can be a phenomenal footballer without being the best athlete in the world. There is some truth, though, in the fact that a little bit of size and speed can be helpful if they are up to par technically and tactically. As long as they have that too, having that extra pace and size, absolutely helpful. So both teams lacking a little bit in that department. And I'm with Steve. Dynamic new boss probably needed to take this team to the next level. So I'm right there with. That was a good question, Luke.
Yeah, no, I think a all right job considering where we were with him. But I think we're at a point now with this team where we need someone who's going to really push this team towards that level of Chelsea. I'm not saying it'll be easy, because Chelsea are a good team. I'm doing very, very well watching them a lot, though. They're a really, really good team to watch. But we've got to start pushing ourselves towards getting up the levels higher. We're sure and Miedema, two probably the best strikers in the world, them two. Maybe along like a Page or Hegerberg, obviously, in Barcelona and Lyon. We've got some of the best strikers in the world. We've got to start using them properly and getting them up there. Yeah.
Yes.
Do you know what, Colby?
Listen, man. I'm a few short of getting my D. So if somebody wants to push this along, I come over there and I'll fucking shake some shit up. No.
His D license. That's what he was saying. His D license.
Yeah,
not other things.
Bunch of fucking perverts.
So the other piece that popped this week, Huang, yes, all that they've reached their ceiling. We got there's more that a proper boss could get out of our current squad, I think. So I think we're all on the same page there. Other big news that came out on Friday, we referenced this earlier in the show. Real Madrid is our next opponent in the Champions League. We will be home on the 11th. I wrote in the notes 11th or 12th, and then they gave us the actual date.
Yes, it is the 11th.
the 11th. So we have them at home first. They get the home. We get the away trip for game 2 the week after. So
Bono second leg.
Hold on. The schedule says that we have Tottenham the following week.
Oh God, Tottenham away and this team.
Like on the weekend, and then the following midweek is that again, right?
Well, somebody needs to contact City's RSS feed people that redo the schedule because it did not update on my calendar. You bastards.
Well, they need to fix that.
Otherwise, we're playing Tottenham at the weekend.
Brilliant.
So, of course, we get Real Madrid again. It was either them or Bayern. We get Real Madrid. I don't think anybody's shocked by that. In the past 6 years across, home and away legs, we've matched up with them 10 times in this competition. So this is nothing new. We'll see them. We'll see what happens. Whatever happens, I have no prediction at this point. Who knows what's going to happen by then? What lineup we're going to see from us? People might get healthy. People might not be. I know we're going to show up and we're going to play, and we're going to see. That's why you play the game. We're going to see what happens, but not probably what the Champions League admin folks were expecting and wanting to see was a Man City, Real Madrid playoff match happening in this new format. Luke, what do you think of this new format? We've talked about it a lot on our show about how much we are not a big fan of it. For someone who's over in England, what's your perspective on this new layout of this competition?
I kind of get what they're trying to do, but it's very Super League in how it's done. Funny how you wafer in FIFA said that, we want a Super League, which, but bear in mind, I don't want it either. But now all of a sudden it's the same sort of thing. It's weird how that kind of works. It's like, anyway, I'm sure it's nothing, but in terms of it, it's different. I mean, it's hard to see different teams play each other, but 8 games into January, it's more games to play, and these players, man, are overplayed anyway. Like our players won't get a rest now for the rest of the season. Like this summer's tournament, by the way, is a waste of time for everyone involved.
Mm-hmm.
It is. So
yes,
honestly,
to that.
I just feel like for me, I what was so wrong with the? I'm in England, mate. I don't live it.
Fucking Steve.
Anyway, yeah.
He's fucking with you, bro.
He always does, man. Always does. Big up, Steve, though. The thing is, right? I don't get what the issue was with the old system, like the groups. Like, there's a reason we have it there. It's a group system. 2 out of the ones go through, obviously, and then the third place teams go through if that's what we do. Why make it so big for a big long table? Why are we doing this? And then playoffs. That's more. That's more. So even if we get through Madrid, that's the first game. And then I just honestly, it's just more games, more money for TV, sponsorship, marketing. It's all a load of crap to get more money in. That's all it is. It's a money laundering scheme. That's all it is.
Yes. To all of that. Yes, to all of that.
Yeah, I'm just not a fan of it, man. Not a fan of it.
No.
Just
is it in part the fact that we are so used to and accustomed to the old format that it's hard for change, or is it kind of fucking the game up a little bit? Because we are adding in all these extra matches because of this playoff bracket format, and we kind of like took the piss out of the fact that there's playoffs at all in this sport. Somebody said, "Oh, well, there's playoffs in the lower leagues to go up." We get that, but like, it's not.
That's not till the end of the season. That's at the end of the season.
Exactly, and it's really you just playing a couple of extra matches. It's not really a tournament. March Madness, that's a tournament. Champions League, that's a tournament.
Right.
You know what I mean? I hope that there does come a place and a time where hopefully whatever regime is in UEFA, FIFA right now, they're almost near death. Let's just put that out there and make it real clear. So not too much longer, hopefully, but hopefully there has to be, or hopefully somebody is like, you know what, we're kind of fucking the game up. Like, let's rethink this, because think about this. Think about this. How big is this fucking sport? Pretty sure everybody knows it as the Globe's sport. Right? Am I wrong?
It is 100%. Yes.
Yeah.
Globe sport.
It's the
How
world
are
sport.
you not making money hand over fucking fist with this sport? Not only that, but there are subsidies for every continent that pays you in some way, shape, or form. I'm just saying, I don't know, man. I think the Club World Cup it's. I'm trying to find the right words. I'm not like I'm flabbergasted still by earlier happenings and whatever. But like, what I'm trying to get at is, does this competition make the sport better?
No.
It does not advance the sport. It advances the size of certain individuals' pockets, but it does not advance the sport
while
itself.
Exploiting the players who are competing in the competition, and then having to return to a season where that's where they have to put all of their efforts into, and they're gassed the fuck out.
Do you know what's hilarious as well? Inter Miami are in it. They didn't win the whole thing. Win the full MLS.
Seattle Sounders. Yeah, and Seattle Sounders. They were not one of the top teams in the MLS either.
So, but you get Al Nassr in, like, because Ronaldo and Messi. Because of money. This is what I mean. It isn't made for fairness. If it was, fair enough. But even so, you're just getting them in there because you want to have one last Messi Ronaldo binge, view match. This is all it is. This is what I don't like about football now. It's just all expensive tickets. No matter what country you're from, America, UK, anywhere, it's the prices are ridiculous. All to just watch a game that was made by working class people.
Mm-hmm.
It's now a massive corporate, over the top. It's basically like the Disney World now. That's all it is. That's all it is now.
Yes.
And it wouldn't worry me if you start getting a Netflix of football. You get an app to watch it on, pay how much a month, it's all on there. And this is where it's going. It's not about the fans in the grounds now. It's about fans watching at home.
Yeah.
To be fair, it's like that here already.
Yeah, I know it is.
We have got 3 or 4 different streaming services just to watch. Make sure we can watch all of City's matches. So
yeah.
And Michael, you're entitled. Yeah, 100%. I wanted to address Michael's comment. You are totally entitled to like the new format if you want. That's totally cool.
Fair play.
And we don't disagree on why City is where they're at right now. It's 100% our own doing. So we had complete agreement there. The new format, not for us. If you like it, that's totally cool too. You're entitled to that. But just so we're clear, we agree with the second part of that comment for sure. It's our own fault as to why we're in the playoffs. And I would feel this way whether we advance to the quarterfinals already. If we finished first in the table, I would have still felt the same way, because eight matches for this is just too much. So I just want to make sure that we're all in this clear and understanding where we're coming from and where you're coming from on that topic and that piece.
To be fair to all of that, Pep has taken accountability for it.
Mm-hmm.
We're just gonna have to see the end product until it's fucking done this season, man. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
Pep admitted to the fact that he and Tichy, like they really missed the mark on not touching the transfer market the way they should have in the last two previous. So it is what it be. We're at. Nothing we can do about it at this point. We just gotta
No.
let the train keep rolling.
Speaking of Pep in the Champions League competition, it appears two things on that. One, all of our new signings, Marmoush, Kusanov, Peter Hayes, all are eligible now to continue into the competition. So they will be registered against Real Madrid and can play for us, which is a nice piece for us. Whether that impacts results or not remains to be seen, but it's nice that they're able to play and get a part of that because none of them have been in this competition at that level before. So just getting the experience of being away at Madrid in a Champions League match, whether they play or they're just sitting on the bench, that's, I think, valuable for them to learn. So that's great. But the also piece there was Pep and Rodri probably pushing a little bit too, that he's looking like he might be registered for the competition in the event that we make a deep run and maybe he can come back. Me personally, I'm assuming, I'm going to make an assumption that you guys probably feel the same way. I don't mind if he's registered. I do not want to see him on the pitch anytime soon until he is fully healthy and cleared by doctors. And I don't need him pushing himself in an intense match early in his recovery period just because we feel like we need him. I want him completely, fully healthy and eased back into the squad, not thrown right into like a 90-minute competitive, intense-ass match. I would much rather lose said matches and keep him for an extended period of time and let him grow back into the side instead of just thrusting him back into the lineup. So for me, fine if you want to register him. I don't think we're going to make a deep run personally. If it happens, awesome. I'll be super excited. But I don't want... He might be one of those supernatural healers, and he's actually healthy and ready to go in 2 or 3 months. Don't know. I'm not a doctor. However, I don't want him pushed back anytime soon.
This motherfucker ain't Wolverine. Let's stop treating him.
There you go.
Adamantium, like,
Yeah.
Where's your Wolverine right now? Yeah, just something attacks happening.
Full bodily recovery within 30 seconds. Okay. No.
Yeah, he's Wolverine. Yeah,
No,
he's an X-Men now. He's
Right.
X-Men now, Audrey.
What should his X-Man name be?
Oh,
The Lightning
Sorry.
Rod?
That's actually a good name. The Lightning Rod, yeah, that's a good one.
Lightning Rod.
Lightning Rod, yeah.
I might have to make that into a character.
But the thing is,
somebody else.
The thing is, though, Rodri, right? Would Rodri have saved us this season? I mean, he probably would have got us a few wins that we probably would have lost, but I don't think long term it would have done much because if you actually watched us before he got injured, there were a few signs where we weren't quite there anyway. And actually, one game was up anyway. It's just, I think the whole team's up here has just dropped. I think Rodri himself would help out a lot in that sense. I just don't. I think it's more than just him. No, that's it. That's issues in this team. It's a lot more. If it was Rodri, I'd understand it, but I just feel like there's more going on than people actually sort of expect. But it'd help a lot. But I just don't think it's that easy to say. It's just him.
Yeah, we've been banging on that drum the last couple of weeks. Exactly that. If big teams don't make it to the end, they're going to tweak this whole thing. You already have your biggest clubs literally lined up in a
bunch of them
to play each other. The Celtics is a big club for.
They're a big club. No, and they've got a history in the competition, so yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Yeah, I'm being dumb. Dumb American, right here.
Yes.
All of us.
Yeah. All of us, yeah, on the pitch, defending.
Right. We should all get like Captain America or Captain Planet rings and just like.
There you go. Just bring them together.
Yeah.
Exactly. Luke, you know the reference. I'm proud of you, man. Good job.
Yeah, I do.
You're a little younger than us, so that's all. That's right. That's why I say that. That's definitely an older folks thing. So proud of you, brother.
Yeah, thank you.
So one we referenced a little earlier too was a new CM guy coming in. We've approached Porto for Nico Gonzalez. $60 million release clause. Barca gets a significant portion of that with, I think, a 40% sell-on piece there. Granted, we've talked a little bit about him before. We know that he's not going to solve all of the issues that we currently have. I personally feel like 60 million is not that bad of a price to pay for someone who can fill into multiple roles for us. I watched some highlights of him. I did some research on Friday and Saturday, and I definitely like what I see. He's got great size, super aggressive in trying to win the ball back quickly. He's got that aggression and tenacity you want out of a player. Me personally, I don't care about the spending piece and how that looks. Buy him, in my opinion, get him in. And he's 23. He's not somebody who's in his prime right off the bat that's going to be like, hey, I need to play over Rodri. He's also Spanish, so he knows how important Rodri is. He's not going to be like, I need to be starting over him. They can play together. They can give each other spells. I think he would work in very nicely to what we already have, and give us something different. So I'm 100% in on Nico, knowing that he's not going to solve all the issues because we have more issues going on than one new signing or one window is going to fix. It's going to take a couple of windows for us to fix at this point. But I'm definitely in on the Nico Gonzalez piece, whether it's 50 or 60 mils. I'm down. So
we actually touched on Cambiasso a couple of times already before you popped in, bud. Cambiasso's hurt, so even if he does come in the signing, he ain't getting in the squad right away. So it doesn't really help us.
He's probably one for the summertime at this point.
Yeah,
I would like him to come in, but he might be a summertime thing. What do you guys think on Nico?
I think he's a good player. But I think what we got to do is we've got to set ourselves. Targets here now. I think in terms of winning a major this season, it ain't gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
I think I like Gonzalez. I think it'll be good for us. I just don't think it's gonna be enough to turn us all around in one like month or so. It's gonna be a rest of the season, just get through it, get top four, and just forget about this season, and we go on to the next season. I think no matter who you get in now, up here, a lot of this team have lost their heads completely, and that's not Haaland. Haaland's right in the game. So Savino, Mamouche, something like that. But the rest of the team around him are just not at it. And Gonzalez coming into this team right now, I think he'll probably sink more than the actual swim because he'll have so much work to do to make a lot of mistakes to be when mid-ready. But it's just midfield, by the way. Akanji's mistakes today, that first goal. Foden, that pass to no one. It's not just the midfield that's the issue here. The whole team is making all these errors and mistakes. So it's not one or two players that's going to save it. The fan base, not us two, us three and the fan know this. But they've got to realise it. Signings right now will do nothing. It's the summer. Get rid of some of these players that our heads have gone. Get ones in that are fresh and ready to go. And then you start again with a new team. Build from there. See what happens. I think this season's all about just end it how you can at this point. It's sad that I've got to say that. But what we've seen so far, it isn't getting better, is it? Really. It's got wins, which is great. Better than 1-13. But it's not like it's much better overall. Still a lot of stuff going on. I mean, today was another example of that, sadly. That's where we are. And Gonzalez is a good player. Enough.
Right. For me, it's like, let's just get the business done early. And because we know we're going to have to sign some folks in the summertime, and with a condensed summer window because of the World Cup that we talked about already, it's going to be, it might be a little harder, way more time constraint on when we bring people in. So maybe this is a guy we are definitely interested in, and he might not change the fortunes, but maybe you do the business now, knowing that he's going to be somebody who's more helpful next season when we have everybody healthy and ready to go, because the summertime is going to be, who knows what it's going to even look like at this point, because we know the season ends end of May, mid-June, then World Cup kicks off and then ends in mid-July, and then we're like right back at it. So who knows what the transfer window is really going to look like during the competition. So maybe just get the get some business done now so you can kind of focus on like one or two in the summertime. But I'm right there with you, man. Lower the expectations again. We know that this window is not going to solve everything and catapult us into title winning contention at this point. But like you mentioned too earlier, Luke, the guys in the midfield, they need help. They need a injection of something. And we've reinforced in the forward line. We've reinforced a little bit in the back line. Now, as we know, the midfield is really where we're losing games at this point. They could use maybe just an injection of freshness, if you will.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Next little bit though. Go ahead, finish your thought, Luke, and then we're gonna get on to the next part.
Yeah, sure. For me personally, right, like, and a lot of people feel like a lot of fans just are just here to see like trophies and that kind of stuff, and there's a lot of people sort of think about fans that aren't from the local area, right? All I ever wanted for City is to just put performances in, good performances that you put in, get good results, which then in turn lead to trophies. You can't get trophies by playing terribly. Yeah, you might get lucky, but in the long run, it doesn't really happen. I've always been about put the effort in, put the levels in, and you get rewarded for it. Obviously, some games you get unlucky with referee decisions. That's context. It can happen to anyone. But this season for me, and bear in mind, I've seen some bad seasons even when we've actually played really well. Like obviously under the Mansour era. I think this is the worst I've ever seen it under Mansour. Like even 08, 09, 10, it was a team growing from a mid-table team into a top 8, top 16. If we're losing games like that, fair enough, it is what it is. But from where we've been and the way we've fallen off massively, I've always said before there'll always be a drop off at some point. The drop off this season has been quite mad. Mm-hmm. Like how bad it's been left this way, and now we've got to turn it around. It's obviously going to be a hard task, but for me, what I hate about this season most of all is just the way the levels have just dropped in that sense. Not necessarily a title and that kind of stuff. It's more about the team itself that's just dropped, and it's sad to see players like Gundogan, Kovacic, and that getting abused every week. Certain players getting abused, like Foden. Like, I'm always critical players, no matter what. I don't care who you are. If you play badly, I'll say as it is. But I'll never abuse them. Because at the end of the day, right, they're players playing out there in a hard game of football. Not easy. But no. It's been a low point of the season for the fan base as well as the club. And what we got to do this season is when we get through it, learn from it, throw it in the bin, next season go again. That's what we can do really at this point.
That was the perfect distinction too, Luke, between what you just said. You can criticize, but never abuse. And a lot of times, like you mentioned, people go to the far side of that and go straight into abusing these players.
Personal digs and shit.
Personal shots and publicly going on social media and just trashing the guys, going into their DMs and throwing just nasty shit at them. So there's a difference. There's a clear difference between those two things. There's a critique and criticizing, and then there's abusing, like you mentioned. That's a very good distinction between the two. Yeah.
These are also people that are such cowards that they don't even put their actual picture up. Let's say this
or name. Yeah.
It'll be some made up stupid name, and it'll sound like a plunger made it or something. Like, dumb names. Yeah. Those people, unfortunately, they'll get away with it, and they'll continue to the more people catch on to it. It sucks, but it is an ink, nonetheless. People do see this shit.
I want to mention this with Steve. We all have to. Yeah. We've seen recently 3 absolute club legends who now have statues outside of the damn Etihad.
Yeah,
we saw the end of David Silva. We saw the end of Kuhn. We saw the end of Vini. It's okay. We were able to move on and accomplish amazing things after they left. It will be no different from when KDB leaves, from when Gundo officially is gone this time and not like coming back randomly. When Bernardo Silva leaves, when Kyle's now gone, like when these guys leave, we will be okay. We saw the likes of those three absolute legends leave the club and move on, either to a new club or just into retirement and coaching. We'll be okay when these guys also leave. It's going to be fine. We'll move on, and we'll find new players to come in, and it'll still be fucking awesome Man City stuff that we're going to watch. So it's going to be all right. It's a part of how sports work. So
Yeah, 100%.
Funny enough that you actually brought up this particular topic, as we'll be walking into talking about KDB appears open to extending his deal at City, but no talks are currently ongoing. Family happiness is allegedly the biggest concern, and they love Manchester for the most part, I guess, which is kind of why this is even being brought up, is the fact that Kev doesn't really feel like relocating his family at this point because of how comfortable they are. So it sounds like people are going to get what they want if this does come to fruition. There has to be something in this though, where his minutes are getting cut back and allowing for some of these younger guys to get their shot, like we were talking about earlier on. Do you guys think that this is probably for the best or for the worst? Do you think that it is truly time to move on from Kev?
Look, I loved Kevin De Bruyne so much, man. Like before City, Wolfsburg, and I watched him in Germany, obviously at Chelsea as well. And I've loved this guy, and he's probably my favorite City player of all time for me anyway. Everyone's different, but that's me. I think for me, when I watch him now, like he's not a bad player at all. He's still a fantastic player. Like I think for me, on when he's on it, he's probably the best fielder in the world still. But we need players who are playing most games now, and he can't do it anymore, and that's fine. He's given everything for his club, legs, hamstrings. He's given it all. He played with torn hamstrings in treble season. He destroyed Arsenal, Bayern, Madrid with torn hamstrings. This man gets all our respect. When he leaves here, he will get the best ever goodbye ever because he deserves it for what he's achieved there. He just has Ballon d'Or for his career and what he's done with his career. But Messi and Ronaldo exist, which is annoying. But the fact is, we need to move on. I accept it now. We need a new player to come in. And the thing is, Phil Foden isn't doing himself any favours right now with being what he's doing. Because we need him to be that player, well, to help him out to move from Kev into the next stage. And when Kev's not here, that's a lot of assists gone, a lot of goals gone in big games. Who will be? And Haaland's got the goals. He can do it, Haaland, in big games. He's doing a lot more this season now. But we need him. But we need someone else who can come in. Like Marmoush for me is what? It's still early days for me. Like Marmoush needs a long. For me, at least 2 seasons in it to see where he is. But it's 2 games against 2 difficult teams. I'm not going to have a go at him for that. He's done all right what I've seen so far. But for Kev, we've got to move on now. Because if we give him a new deal, it's bench player. He can't be a starter because the legs aren't there to do it every game. And we'll need someone to come in. I think for me, Verts for me is probably the player I'd go for. To replace Kev. Look, Kev will never ever be replaced per se, because Kev as a player it's hard to replicate. Even Verts Musiala on that level, but they're both great players that can grow into that kind of player with the right kind of training and coaching. This is where I feel like I think it's gonna hurt the fan base, but we've got to get someone in the summer who's gonna come in, compete with Foden, and give us a proper freshness in attack. So for me, I would probably say it's time. If he stays, fair enough, but we can't rely on a 35-year-old KDB next year. It's not fair, man.
That's where I'm at. I have no problem if they give him another 1-year deal, but he cannot be the automatic starter at this point. I think there's still enough in his tank to help us at times, but the perfect model, I guess, if you will, for Kevin at this point is the way Real Madrid use Luka Modric.
Yes.
Luka is older than Kev, but he's still helpful as long as they define what his role is going to be.
Yeah.
Luka doesn't start every match anymore. He doesn't play some matches. He's on the bench, part of the 18, but he doesn't get in. When they need him in certain games, he plays 60 minutes, or he comes off the bench, much like today, that Kev did for the last 20, 30 minutes to try to change things for us. I think if everybody agrees to a reduced role as far as minutes played to help manage him, I think he could still be helpful in spot minutes and in far less minutes than we've grown accustomed to him with him. I don't mind as long as we use that kind of model where he's not somebody we're counting on for 3,000 minutes each for the season. If he's somebody that can come in, change the game for us, add a little something different in the attack towards the end of a match, cool. But we have to find someone, whether it's Echeverri, whether it's a new signing, to come in and play that other attacking role. I don't want it to be Bernardo Silva. I think he's extremely useful still, but to me, he's more useful as being more like that utility player at this point that we bring in also to kind of like change things up. Let the younger guys kind of cook on the wings, Phil, maybe a new signing, or depending on how Echeverri adapts to life over here, maybe it's him and Phil that are in those two attacking roles. Or we splash the cash and go find a big name and bring him in too, which I'm also fine with. But I would be okay with Kev coming back for another like year extension, as long as everybody is on the same page with what that role is going to be. And I think the model would be Luka at Real Madrid. He's not an everyday starter anymore. He comes in when we need him, and that's okay. But I think on the other hand, if they decide and he decides it's time to move on for everybody, that's cool too. I'm just thankful that I got to watch him at City for so long because he's an absolutely phenomenal player. He's done amazing things for us. He's the last holdout before that we've had pre-Pep. So he's been here through all of it, all the ups and downs at this point. A lot of highs, a lot of lows this year, but he's done so much for the club. Whatever they decide to do with him, be it a year extension or they both decide, you know what, we'll separate at a natural ending this season because your contract's up. Cool. So that's where I'm at. Yeah, Mike, I'm glad you asked that question. Yes, we this is, I think you're maybe this is your first time commenting within our shows. I'm not sure if you watched before, but the last couple of episodes, once we brought him in, we've definitely talked a little bit about Peter Hayes coming in as a center back, but somebody who has the skills that could shift into that CDM role, especially with the likes of Rodri and Fernandinho kind of hanging around training recently and helping out a little bit more. Hayes is a Brazilian,
but also, yeah, exactly.
He's Brazilian. He can communicate with both guys, and he's played the positions that both of our new guys are playing. So I think they're bringing him in to kind of be like a mentorship role for those dudes. So he's definitely somebody who could come in and help. It's just not going to be this season. He's younger. He's still developing his body physically. He's not going to come in and solve that problem yet. We've talked about that already on the show. This is not, that role and position is not going to be fixed until one, Rodri's back, and two, they bring in somebody in the summertime. Even if they get Nico Gonzalez this year or this window in the next 36 hours, whatever it is at this point. Even if they bring him in, that role is not going to be solved overnight or in the next 3 or 4 months. We're going to have to roll with the current situation with him. But we do think that Hayes could potentially play that role down the line and has the skills to thrive in that role down the road once he's got himself acclimated a little bit. So,
yeah,
we'll see what happens, man.
Yeah,
signs point to that though.
Yeah, no, I think for me, right, look, I mean, I'm all in favour of giving anyone a chance, especially here. I think for him especially, I want to see how he does, because obviously he looks like a very good player. I just him and Husnov I feel sorry for, because they're coming into a team that's just so out of depth and out of where it should be. That I think if they were in a better City team right now, that they both be coming into a good atmosphere, and I think it'd be a lot better for them. I'm not saying I think overall they'll be fine in the long run here.
Mhm.
But what we've got to do is get back to the atmosphere in the ground, and also the training ground, where we're just focused again on positive and a bit more upbeat, rather than just so like up and down. Wins here, big loss there. We need to start getting a bit of consistency again. For me, that's the aim of the season. Just get consistency back in our team again.
Yeah, and they would probably be able to slot in a little bit more seamlessly if we had all our players fit and they could actually be protected a little bit more. Right now, with everybody feeling whatever way they're feeling and the performances being so up and down, it's not a great situation to put a young player in. If you're coming in as a center back and you got Ruben Diaz next to you, Yoshko, Stones at right back, and Rodri in front of you, you're probably feeling a lot better about yourself. And you're a little more confident out on the pitch because you have so much support around you. But when you come in to the side where everybody's at currently, it's a little less. You're not feeling as confident in one yourself, and then everybody else around you when there's such up and down performances. So I definitely agree with you, man.
Yep.
You mentioned earlier, Jacob Wright is off to Swansea. We got $4 million for him. We saw a little bit of him in the summertime. I felt like O'Reilly was a little bit more impressive during his summer spell than Jacob was. So I'm glad he's getting an opportunity to move on, get first team football. I'm glad we get a little bit of a fee. $4 million isn't. Every little bit helps when it comes to balancing books and things like that. So I have no problem sending him on his way. He clearly wasn't going to get chances with us at this point in time. So there's no point holding on to him. He doesn't need reps with the EDS team anymore. He needs first team football. So I'm glad Jacob is getting opportunities elsewhere and moving on. We get a little bit of a fee for him, but clearly he wasn't getting reps and opportunities. So why hang on to him any longer at this point?
Yep.
Exactly. There are a lot of people that are upset with him leaving, especially with him being another academy player that did not get minutes with the first team. We've become more or less a factory for everybody else when it comes to our EDS. And Michael, I'm not sure that we even have a buyback clause on that contract. To be fair, but there's also the fact that Nico O'Reilly is being shopped to go to Chelsea, and it's just like I don't think so. I don't. How I guess maybe what I'm getting at is how many times are we gonna do this? And if it does come to the fact that Nico goes there and he produces and he's really good, like there's been people in the comments that said it and people on socials, I stand with it. Like Pep's gonna have some explaining to do.
Yeah, 100%.
That will be Cole Palmer and then him right after. And Romeo Lafia. I mean, he's not really played much at all, but that's irrelevant. Those two in particular, if he goes there, produces, that's
especially with Nico this season, considering how much trouble our midfield has had and him not getting opportunities. That one I definitely understand a little bit more. Cole, we got $45 million for it. He said he wanted to go on loan. We were like, stay or go permanently. We're not doing the loan thing anymore. Maybe hindsight, a loan wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world to do. But I understand why things went the way they did with him. But with Nico, for sure, considering our struggles in the midfield all season and him not really getting a lot of opportunities, if he were to leave after this season and then immediately turn around and clearly not going to have a Cole Palmer-like season right after. Nobody thought if anybody who follows City on a regular basis knew Cole Palmer was going to be an awesome player. Nobody thought he was going to break out the way he did that first season with Chelsea. I don't think anybody can honestly say that they were expecting him to go in and put up 38, 39 goal contributions in the Premier League that season. But if Nico goes and has a great season and looks really good as a midfielder, and we didn't really give him a full opportunity, given the struggles of the midfield this season, that would be a red mark for the group. So unfortunate, that would happen, but we'll see. That's all speculative. We don't know if Nico is actually trying to leave, wants to leave. That's to be addressed if and when it does happen. If it doesn't, then it's just us talking to talk at this point.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Joe, we said we were going to talk about this earlier. We're going to talk about it now.
Yes.
Lead us into this, because this is, and obviously, Luke, we're going to be getting your feedback in this as well as the comments, but this is something that really, really needs addressed in a very executive way, because suffice it to say, people have entitlement issues more so than I've ever witnessed in my entire life. But let's get to the bottom.
Yeah, so after a recent match that McAtee was leaving the car park, I guess, with from where all the players leave, and a fan and his 10-year-old fan and his father were trying to get McAtee to I guess sign his shirt or whatever, had an interaction and waving to him, and McAtee was going to give, I guess, his shirt, his kit to the kid, and then he saw that the kid had a Sheffield Wednesday jersey on underneath of his City stuff. So he had a little bit of two things going on. So it started making its way around social media, and then the father decided he was going to post something. He posted, and I quote, "Imagine traveling all that way, braving the freezing cold after watching a Champions League game, just for your little football mad 10-year-old to have his birthday night ruined." He tagged James McAtee, had the chance to make a birthday unforgettable, he handed out his shirt, and you should have seen the pure joy on the kids' faces. But then when it came to it, he changed his mind, all because of the badge on his coat, the Sheffield Wednesday coat and badge. Never mind that he was head to toe in Man City gear, which is a problem right there. You're not wearing two different teams' gear at the same time. Having spent all his birthday money in the club shop that night. Also have a problem with that. Why are you making your kid spend his birthday money on his own shit? That's your job as the dad. Kids look up to their idols, whether they support a local team or one of the biggest in the world. Not everyone can get to the Etihad every week, but that doesn't make them any less of a fan. Moments like these shape how young supporters see the game and their heroes. It's a shame when football forgets what really matters, and then proceeded to tag all the people and the journos and other players and whatnot. Look here, dude. Your kid had an unforgettable experience at a Champions League match at the Etihad. Because a player decided not to give you the jersey off that he wore does not mean your kid's birthday was fucking ruined at all. No. That's his prerogative. He doesn't have to do any of that. You didn't have to hang around the car park and beg for something, and then for them to turn you down. That's their choice. That's not on James McAtee. He's not a bad dude for not deciding to do that at all. And the fact that you make it a point to go out onto social media, tagging all these people, making this post, playing the victim in this situation is really maddening at this point, because you're just looking for attention and you're looking for a handout from somebody to reach out to you after your bad experience, your horrible ruined birthday, to have somebody at the club reach out and give you something. That's not how this works, bud. They didn't do anything wrong. That was their choice. And again, just reading this again, you're an asshole for making your son spend his birthday money to buy the gear in the first place. Exactly. You make yourself look dumb now.
Making him a spectacle on the internet.
Yes. All of
it's
that,
all about
dude.
him. It's all about you, not your son. All about you. Come on, man. Look, the day, right? If a player gives you his shirt, that's an honor in itself. Like, if I was giving Haaland a shirt or De Bruyne a shirt, and For me personally, if I was given them, I'd probably end up giving it to my little cousin who's a City fan, because I actually would love that. There are, I love to have that, but I'm older I'm older now. I think I've got my own stuff anyway. But if I could give it to my like my cousins and that, I'd love to do that. But this is what I don't people understand. It's not expected for players to give you their shirts or their stuff. There's no obligation here. Like if they give you it, as from their being kind to you, like Grealish doing that does that quite a lot as well. Obviously in his spare time, but there's this narrative now, and people just expect players to hand them stuff. Not how it works, man. Never has been.
No,
it's an entitled world now. It's entitled.
it is.
All for Instagram as well, by the way. eBay, all for Instagram likes and that. That's what it is.
It's funny you brought up the entitlement part, because that was really the whole point of this. I've got 3 points, and I'm going to read verbatim what I wrote to Joe whenever
I sent it to him the first time.
This with me.
These were his knee-jerk immediate reactions.
This was
so
my
you guys
knee-jerk reaction.
You get the full reaction from Colby tonight, which is normally the case. But
so first the fuck of all, you know the standards at every club, not just the big clubs, every club. Wearing another club inside, regardless, looks incredibly suspect and untrustworthy, because that's the level they are all put at this point. And that's the truth. It doesn't matter if you're in fucking England or if you're over here in fucking America. You walk into another stadium with a fucking other shirt on, and then you put another one over top of it. You think somebody who isn't going to fucking notice?
Seriously, what are you doing? Put on the City stuff.
That's mental. That's mental. Secondly, you walking in feeling entitled because it's your kid's fucking birthday? Sir, that's your fucking problem. That's your problem. Your kid got his hopes up. You put that on him. No one else. Because Lord knows you didn't fill his fucking head before walking in saying that you were going to do that for him. And I'm not going to front. We as fathers, me and Joe, we have done this before. We have learned our lesson. And honestly, that's what makes us qualified to even fucking condemn it. Third point, let this be a lesson learned. The world doesn't owe anybody shit. This is a lack of accountability and false sense of entitlement. Also, the direct effect of pandering your fucking children. The fact that you got to take your kid to a match at all should be a present unto itself. And
that's a highlight.
That's the highlight. Do you know how much that fucking costs? It's not a cheap date. Not only that, but you got in his head. You made him believe this. So his disappointment is on you. Not on the clubs. It's not on James McAtee. It's not on anybody. You're at fault. Accountability, people. There's a lack of it. And there's a whole other story that we're going to be talking about on Wednesday when it comes to accountability and being a man of your fucking word. I digress. Thank you.
I don't. I just.
Me to rage.
I've taken my kids to multiple matches, and there's especially on the women's side for the NWSL games. After every one, they kind of like let people in along the sideline to go down and potentially, keyword there, potentially get autographs from the players. Sometimes the players come over and do that. Sometimes they don't. But that's the conversation you have with them ahead of time. You say, you know what, we'll go out back and we'll see. Yes, Michael. But that's the conversation you have with them going into this. Like, yeah, we'll go on the back where their cars leave and maybe we might get something. If we don't, that's okay too. But this is part of it. You might get an interaction with players. You might not see anybody. And whatever happens, cool, but we'll give it a try. But what you don't do is then turn around on social media and make City and McAtee and all these players out to be bad people because of the things you decided to do. Yeah, and Pep had a whole conversation with people. So. Like, is this what you want to do with the rest of your lives? You just want to be out here hawking autographs and jerseys? He's like, for real. He was like, let's have a real conversation. Is this what you really want to do for the next 30 years? Is chase people down, getting people to sign shirts so you can sell them? And all of them were like, nah. He was like, Well, then go put your energy elsewhere into the things that will get you to where you want to be instead of doing this bullshit. So it's absolutely ridiculous that this guy decided to go out and put a social media post out condemning McAtee and all that shit. Yes, like come on, dude. Like, yes, both of you.
Pussy.
It's absolutely maddening that people feel this level of entitlement and that they're deserving to get things, and that it's because it's his birthday he should get something.
Exactly.
Yeah, and he played at Sheffield United, not Wednesday.
Not Wednesday. Exactly, Steve. So of course he hates fucking Sheffield Wednesday. He played against their rival. He was like, "Fuck you, no."
Oh my god! Tell
They
me
probably
you don't know football without telling me you don't know football.
That part right there. They were like, "We're gonna wear the kit of the team that he used to play on, and he's gonna appreciate that." No, bitch. That's not the club he played for.
No, he played the rival.
Yes.
You fucking idiot. All right. Listen,
People, man, they drive me nuts.
Fucking people suck. People nowadays, and that's not to say any of you guys in the comments. We love you guys. We know you guys are right in and around the same headspace as us, so we don't feel like we're directly talking at you. But there are some fucking stupid people out there.
People in generally speaking.
Let's talk about wild decisions. Yeah. Kun Aguero decided he's joining Formula E.
Yeah.
Holy shit. He gonna be driving them quiet cars. Nobody gonna hear. No, that's really cool though. I think it's really cool that somebody like him is jumping into a sport that is just like so far and away from what they're used to doing their whole life. But it also goes to show the growth of the formula sport. Like, it's really, really, really blown the fuck up over the last, I'll say, like 6-7 years. For me, I've known about Formula One ever since I could get like the Car and Driver channel over here. I would stay up mad late just for those races whenever I could. But now that there are 3 different tracks here in America, it is skyrocketing. I mean, it's driving to the point where NASCAR actually made a circuit in downtown Chicago just so they could compete with the fact that not only did Formula One have the Texas race, the Great America race, but now they've got Miami and Vegas. So it's really neat that he's not only becoming a driver, but also an ambassador of the sport and trying to, maybe pull in some new people into it. Because, dude, if you really pay attention to Formula One and realize the extent of which these cars are designed in order for them to do what they can do, you just have to be able to marvel at stuff like that first and foremost. But the ingenuity is ridiculous.
Steve said Kun is a great driver's name.
Right.
Yeah.
He's going to be actually driving those Evo cars, yeah?
Say that again, Joe?
He's actually going to be a driver, right? He's like competing in the competition with other like celebrities and shit. Yeah.
I mean, he's small enough that he could too. I mean,
fit in there. There you go.
A few pounds, but
hey, man, keep growing your brand, bro. Like,
yeah, just keep.
Football's done.
Super dope.
Keep going, man. Awesome stuff.
They're going to be doing. He's going to be still doing that thing with I think Pat McAfee. That 5v5 tournament they did down in North Carolina.
The TST, yeah.
Tournament.
That thing is continuing to grow. They're adding more women's teams this year, and more folks are getting a part of this. So that is 100% growing. It's going to be really big and continue to get big. I unfortunately, it's like at the tail end of my kiddos' travel season. So we're wrapping up our season right around that time. So we don't. It's hard to. I want to get down there really bad for those games because it's such close. You see so many games in our super close quarters. So like you really get an opportunity to see a lot of cool people, a lot of fun footy. So eventually, going to get down there and go to some. But it's just not in the cards this season coming up. Well, but I definitely want to get down there.
Well, when we get a little older and we make a little bit more money and we don't have as many responsibilities, i.e. our children, we can go to said tournament, right? Or even when they're in high school, when one of them will probably be off of college at that point. But we could just get a house down at the Outer Banks and finish the season. Go see the
love the Outer Banks.
TSC. Go stay in a big house in the Outer Banks. That sounds like a great idea to me.
Love it.
For those of you across the pond, the Outer Banks, it is a literally 0.4 mile wide weird strip of land that goes to the Outer Banks of North Carolina. It's literally like being on like a pirate something or another. Like you get to feel the earth. You know what I mean? Like it's very secluded and you're just surrounded by water. That's all you hear the whole time. It's just water, and it's awesome.
You get the ocean and beach for days, and all the good food that you could possibly want. And
dude, the seafood is phenomenal down there.
So good.
Listen,
bring back memories from last summer.
Whenever Luke comes over, we're gonna have to go vacation and show him what real Americana is. New York really ain't America.
Oh yeah, I'm down for that.
The real stuff.
That was a shout out to our boy Sheik on X, who tried to argue with us that NYC is better than America. And I'm like, well, it's in America, but also
first and foremost, it's in America. Second, it's not a real representation for the most part of the rest of us.
No.
Yeah. Last little bit in community news for us personally here. We reached the 600 follow mark on Instagram, so we want to send a special shout out to everybody who's been following us on Instagram and has helped us grow. We greatly appreciate it. Luke's a part of that, so thank you, Luke, for being a part of our journey. It means a lot to us. Now that we are close to the end, we're gonna waffle around with Mr. Luke and just talk some shit. So you guys have stuff in the comments you want to throw at us, please do so now. Otherwise, Luke, what?
It's coming. Steve's most recent comment is on its way.
Definitely, yeah. Oh God.
You're not wrong, Steve-O. Oh my God.
Backsplash, bro.
Jesus.
Here we go.
It started. Oh man.
Yes, it has begun. No, but really though, tell us about growing up, Luke. Give us some insight into Luke. Like what were your favorite cartoons growing up? Who's your favorite superhero? Shit like that.
Ooh.
We want to know some things because we're both superhero people, right? He's Marvel. I'm DC. Where do you?
I like both. With me, right? I like them both. However, I grew up loving Batman and Spider-Man Marvel. So for me,
yes,
Batman, and recently Daredevil. Recently, I love the Marvel Netflix shows. They're probably the best TV thing I've watched them on Netflix when they're out. I feel like with Marvel though, with DC in terms of TV and film, have been very best. I hope this year with Superman, Fantastic Four, a bit better. Hopefully, it was a good year this year for like films this year because we had Deadpool, Wolverine. It was good. I loved it. I loved the actual the comedy, and also it was actually a good film. First time in a while done. But for DC, especially, and Colby, you agree with me here, especially with DC, Superman needs to be good for them to get their universe started off correctly for them because they've had their Justice League rush through. Obviously, it didn't happen because there were so many characters in there that we hadn't had films for yet, and it's like Avengers. You had everyone had films. You knew it was a film and was really good. I think if James Gunn's going to do DC right, I hope he at least gives it a bit of a build up to a big film like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like both though. I like both.
Fair. That's a fair point. All right. Both. All right. So pick. You already picked your DC guy, right? Batman was your guy. Who's your Marvel absolute go to?
You know what? It used to be Spider-Man, and I love Spider-Man because he's iconic, in the world. But I think recently they're full of all. Okay, well, all right,
can't with
moving
it.
on.
I can't with fucking Steve. God damn it, bro.
I think I'll say recently, and I've people who are actually blind, and I've had experiences of people obviously who have disabilities that I've sort of a lot of respect for. Like I love Olympics more than the Olympic Games itself. I find it so much more inspiring for myself to see people who have difficulties find a way to get over it and pull through. For me, when I watch something like Daredevil, it's about a guy who's blind but can kick ass and wear a really cool suit and fight in the hallway. I think that for me is like Batman. Not like, but
Right.
it's very similar sort of like darkness about it. That's what I'm a vigilante kind of guy. I love vigilantes because it's not hero of certain thing. They don't care. They get things done like Punisher, for example.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
badassery. I love it, man. Love it.
That's actually quite an interesting answer because that's literally like my route of thinking. Punisher, Daredevil, the ones that are actually fighting from like deep down hurt rather than I'm an alien from somewhere and this is how I dress. Yeah, those ones hit home a little bit harder. That's pretty dope.
Anytime we
Lucifer is
see
the
injustice.
Dude.
Probably is.
He said you're Lars in disguise.
Yeah, it's because right. It's the joke, right? So basically, the smart product manager is basically like me but older. If you look up the Sparta Prague manager who played in the group stages, he's got literally a similar haircut to me, but obviously he's like a 50, 60-year-old man with glasses and a proper like. I thought straight away. I thought, oh, for God's sake! And then Bevo got it straight as Steve. That's how it all started. I'm called Lars now, I'm Luke. So it's a joke that we constantly use. Fair enough. Yeah, look up. It's quite funny. I'll give him that one.
So
Yeah.
you live down south, right?
Yep.
How often do you get up to Manchester, and what are some things that if me and Joe come over, or when me and Joe come over, what are some things that are like musts? If you were to have us over, right, and we were your guests, where are places aside from like Mary D's and shit like that? Where are the places that you'd like to go, or that you'd like to take your guests?
Oh, well, you see, I got my can obviously because money wise, obviously, I watched the team for many years now before I even went to games for a few years ago. I tell you, if there's one, I love Northern Quarter. I like going to a lot of the shops and and the canals. They're really beautiful, especially when it's nice weather. There are a lot of great pubs that what I'll do is if you ever come over it, I'll send you links to the place to go to for actual pubs to go to because there's some good ones when you do find them. Northern Soul Manchester's good because they do really nice toasted cheese sandwiches and like cheesy fries and that like proper full food. There are a lot of good, and also there are a lot of American chain restaurants that are actually in Manchester now, which is really cool.
I know.
I've tried Wendy's, which is actually although it depends. I mean, I've tried one, I need to try it again, sort of get used to it, but it's different to what we have over here. But I'm trying to sort of try different things, and I've it's nice to have a bit more variety over it because most time with the UK we get American stuff, but it's like late down the line when you guys have like movie it. So when we get stuff like that, it's like it's big, like it's it's different. And then to me it's different because it's so much different to what we used to have in. And what a lot of stuff up north is different down south. down like London, it's more London way down south. Like the actual south coast in the summer is lovely. Like on the beaches and that, it's beautiful. It's nice. But eventually, there's good sunshine, good heat. But up north, it's a lot of kind of green, homely. It's it's different places, but it's got nice like proper old school like pubs and restaurants that are really good. Yeah, and it is different, but I would definitely recommend a few places to go to if you come over here that are really nice. Especially a lot of the pubs that you go to on match day. I mean, I know a lot of friends that I've shown at different places too. So I have a routine now where I go to a place before the game to have like a Guinness and an Irish bar. Then there's the game. It's my little routine I do now. So it's good.
Right on. We just got a Nando's over here, so
yeah, that is nice. Nando's, prefer. It's nice.
I want to try it there first before I try it here though, because
Yeah.
I need authenticity before I can generate. So I'm actually kind of curious what your Wendy's burger experience is, because for me personally, of all of our fast food chains, especially on the East Coast, like because you kind of said how there's different things up north than there are down south. It's a lot like
Yeah.
that over here in the States. Like McDonald's, Wendy's, and Burger King are probably the three big hitters as far as national brands go that you'll see everywhere, right? But if you go down south, you'll see Whataburger, or if you go to the Midwest, you'll see Culver's, or if you go to the West Coast, you'll get In-N-Out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what your Wendy's burgers, because that's my favorite, like, of the top three burgers. McDonald's is absolute shit.
It's terrible.
Awful. Burger King, they put fake charring flavor on it, and you can tell.
Yeah, but Burger King were really good. Like the Whoppers, I used to love Whoppers a lot. Now, I've had one for years, but I don't like me. My favorite to go to is Five Guys, although it's a lot of money. It's like my whole mortgage goes on the meal.
Stupid expensive.
Yeah.
Yep. I do the meal. So it's good shakes. I love it, but my whole bank account gets spin. Have to get over a meal. So it's like, yeah, I love Five Guys. It's lovely. Good burgers, good shakes, good fries. It's good stuff.
We had
a lot of money.
We had that last night, and I have meal for four. So 4 burgers, a couple of fries, 4 drinks, and I think it was probably $75. So it was not cheap for. The burger was delicious. Yeah.
$20 or more.
Yeah, nuts. So it's paid for it. The fries were delicious. The burger was very good, but that's definitely one that's not a regular occurrence, just because for a family of 4, it's almost like a night out eating at an actual restaurant than fast food.
For me, I've tried Wendy's. It was all right. Now, for me personally, I like to try things more than once before I say what I like or not. And I'm not sure where I went to was a good one or not. Like if I went to America, I might like Wendy's a lot more. I mean, because some countries don't often do different countries' restaurants the correct way.
Right.
Five Guys is a bit more like try it. Five Guys in France, that it's more the same thing. It's more the same process, same food, same price. Yeah. That one you can't really change, but like McDonald's, same thing. But if you tried like Wendy's, for me is more American, and it's like coming over here, it's getting that. I'm sure if I went over to the States, I probably would love it a lot more. That's why I judge it over here, because it's hard to judge stuff like that over here.
Exactly.
So, yeah,
that's exactly why I won't go to Nando's. Like, it's super cool. We've got one over here, right? Especially in our area of all places in the country, we got one here in the DC area. But like, until I know what it's like there, I can't. I just can't, because I feel like I would be. The chicken might be really good, but like, how do I know that it's exactly what I would be getting if I go to where it originally comes from? You know what I mean?
I've had it a few times here, because they have one at Arundel Mills, which is a big mall nearby. So I've had it a few times there, and I can confirm that the chicken is very good here. I'm not sure, obviously, haven't had it over there but it is tasty, and their side dishes are phenomenal.
How's that peri peri sauce?
It's very good.
Is it good?
It's really good.
It's very good.
Very, very good.
Their rice that comes with it and the garlic bread is like cooked perfectly. It's so good.
See, you guys are rapping on the same things now, and I'm just like, fuck, I'm like, what? Dude, listen, if we had more chippies over here, I would be at one more often. So, I mean, suffice it to say, we have British pubs over here, but it ain't the same, right? Like, we got the one I have here in town, we have one that sells barely anything. And the three items that they do have is a cottage pie that is not made properly. Second thing is the fish and chips, and it's a decent sized piece of fish, but it ain't the size that y'all get. And our chips are not chips like y'all's; they are fucking shoestring French fries, right? And then they've got this like super creamy, fucking spiced down tikka masala. And it's upsetting because I know that it's got to be better over there.
It's upsetting.
It's upsetting. It is.
Truth.
Like my biggest thing is like I want the little sprinkly things from the fish at the bottom of my basket or in my paper, right? We don't get that. They don't have that here.
I would recommend going to a seaside fish and chip shop in the UK. Some of them are really good, but it's like you go to ones in like town centres, like in the middle of the country. It's all right, but it's the same. You go on the seaside, properly done. It's the best.
I actually have a friend who lives near Exeter, so I in my travels when I come over there, I plan to go visit him. Actually, he lives in Exmouth, so not Exeter.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, he's told me 20,000 times, like, dude, you got to come to the coast. Yeah, scraps, exactly.
Scraps, they're very nice scraps. Yeah, scraps. Really good.
Well, that's much.
We call them the crunchies.
Yes, that's much like over here though. Like because the U.S. is so large, like there's certain areas of the country that specialize in certain seafood, and if you're like in the middle of the country, you're very far away from any like true ocean, so you shouldn't be like if you're getting shrimp and fish and lobster or crab rolls or something like that, and you're in like Nebraska, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
Get your river fish instead. Don't do that. But
don't do that.
I'm very happy that I live so close to the Atlantic Ocean and the bay and all that. And in Maryland, we're crab folks, so I know pretty much wherever I'm going, I'm getting a legit like crab cake. So it's definitely the case over here too, where if you're on the coast, your seafood is fresher and it's 100% more tasty than those who are getting it delivered from the coast through frozen trucks that take 2 days to get to you before you can actually cook it up. So it's very similar here, where on the coast you get a lot better seafood.
The only time anybody in the middle of the country eats seafood is if it's freshwater, right? A lot of people in what we call the Rust Belt, between basically like Pittsburgh and Chicago, a lot of their fish comes from the Great Lakes. It's decent actually, right? But if you want real seafood, you got to go to like Miami or the Outer Banks or to Maryland, because they really do have the best blue crab. LA has the best sushi. And LA doesn't even have the best sushi. It's apparently the San Fernando Valley, which is above Hollywood, has way better sushi than like LA County. And the same thing with Seattle too. Seattle seafood, man, that market up there is absolutely
getting real hungry now that we're talking food, y'all.
Yeah. So am I.
I'm hungry.
Chips and gravy. This is something I absolutely must try.
Yeah,
come over.
That curry sauce as well. Curry sauce. That's also very good as well.
Curry sauce.
Very good.
So, okay, can you give me a rundown of what curry sauce really is? Is it the curry powder that you can buy in the spice aisle and then you just like put some shit in it, or is it like is it something else? Because I have I'm missing the mark on it, and I'm so desperate to try it that
Yeah, I I think it is that. I mean, I'm sure Steve knows more than I do. Obviously, 'cause I've tried. I've done it a few times now, but I think it's kind of like this kind of sauce you're making for a curry without chicken in it, but you dip chips in it, I think. I'm not sure what the particular flavour it is. I can't give you
right.
that info, but I think that's kind of what you're going for. That thick curry sauce that you get with like chicken, obviously involved in it. But
Okay.
without it, you get a chip, dip it in. That's basically what it is, really. But it's nice.
I'm looking for like some serious like British markets over here. I found one, and I want to go. I want to go visit it because first of all, I'm almost out of Yorkshire tea, and I'm kind of pissed about it.
Nice
You
little
guys
tea.
got me. You guys got Will got me hooked. The only thing I will say is I've never seen a fluid stain a cup quite the way Yorkshire tea does.
Yeah. Oh,
Holy
yeah.
shit! I thought of Austin Powers immediately too. I was like,
Outstanding.
both from scratch, but powder too.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but like, is it? See, this is something that I've done before because I like German food. Suffice to say, and they have uh, it's curry ketchup, right? And that's what I'm thinking in my head that your curry sauce is. So I need to know the base of what it is from the powder. If anybody can give me that answer, you'd be helping me out a lot. And I might go make it right now. I'm joking.
Hell yeah.
No. Joe, do you have any pressing questions for Mr. Luke?
To be honest, you hit the food piece, you hit the TV and Marvel stuff. Those are kind of like food and superhero stuff. That's me in a nutshell for the most part. I'm also a big Harry Potter fan. Luke, attaboy. What house? Colby, you can just chill out for
See, for me, right,
Not for me, mate.
I've always liked Ravenclaw. I'm different. Gryffindor's cool. It's good. It's the main one. Slytherin's the badass green one. Yellow's like the more niche one. Like the ones that think they're too cool. I'm always found Ravenclaw like the odd one out. I thought, yeah, what? That's where I belong. The odd one out. So that's me.
Yes. Thank you.
I can see that.
That is all I need to know, Steve Black. You
Very
are
cool.
a gentleman and a scholar, sir. Thank you.
He's on it. Yeah, we do a yearly like one read of all the books and the movies in our house.
Yeah.
I'm just starting mine again. I drive a lot for work and for the girls' practices and everything. I'm the chauffeur, so I'm usually in the car a lot. So I throw on a good audiobook and Harry Potter is a big one for me. So that popped in my head just now because I know Colby's. It's not for him, as he said on with the sound there.
No, sorry.
But
Not for
I was
me,
curious, and that's okay. And that's
you know
okay.
Who that is, right? You know who
Yeah.
that is talking, right?
Colby is Slytherin.
You're fucking right. I am.
Alicia, Slytherin, Alicia Lehman. Oh, this.
My God, Steve, I love you, man.
He's the
I
best
would.
one.
Listen, no. Douglas has to go before that can be a thing.
This is true.
I'm sure he's packing a little bit more than I am.
You never know.
You truly never do know. He might have a micro penis, but I'm not trying to.
You want to compare?
Anybody. Yeah, I don't want to compare, and I'm not trying to shame.
Hey, it's all good, man.
Dude, Luke, thank you so much for coming in and hanging out with us. What a shitty day to have you on, considering the result, but all the same, super happy that we finally got to have you here and to hang out and to talk and to build brotherhood, because that's one of the things that for me and for Joe in doing
100%.
this, that's our biggest motivator is we just want to create brotherhood amongst everybody. Not everybody likes to play the game, but we appreciate that you are a part of that, and I can't thank you enough for coming on.
Mate, honestly, I've been forward to this for a long time. I prefer what to do it. You guys are legends. The problem you're on, how you're actually on. I wish you were. I think you should be on the way more than that. You really, because both of you are doing something completely different to other people, like myself. Like, we're doing podcasts and shows, but it's not the same stuff. It's our own stuff, our own unique way of doing it, and you both deserve a lot more than what you have. I'm sure a lot of people out there do, but you guys keep smashing it. I reckon one day you'll hit 1K eventually, ASAP. I reckon. But people will see how good you guys are. Trust me.
I appreciate that.
That's it.
Really appreciate you saying that, buddy.
Yeah, that means a lot.
It really does.
And for any one of you guys over there, just that little line right there, that goes 10,000 miles, if not more, for us. Because I mean, it is tough. It's tough coming into this realm, being the outsider, especially being the American. The only thing we can do is just thank you for allowing us in and
Embracing us. Yeah, exactly.
Us. Yeah.
Of course, man.
Whether we get to 1,000 followers, 100,000, whatever it might end up being, that's cool, and I'm excited for growth. But really, man, like, just doing this and getting to meet like the new people, and then getting like you and some of the other guys that we've had on that have built this relationship that we have, and then getting to do this with Colby a couple times a week, it's just like, it's great. And then if that's all it turns out to be, I'm more than happy to accept that. If it grows bigger, cool, that's fine too. It's just like, I get to talk about my favorite club with an amazing person, 2 days a week, and meet some new cool people. There's nothing better than that. So if whatever happens in the future, it's been a great ride so far. And
we wish you all the best with your endeavor in doing this. We know it is not easy. It might look easy on a screen to others, and we're just sitting here and talking and clicking buttons, but I promise you, it ain't. So keep rocking, dude. You're doing a good job. You're providing something to the community, and that's why we like rubbing elbows with you. But moreover, the fact you're just a small guy, and we appreciate you.
Thank you, man. That's pretty you too.
Faux show.
Genuine lad. So thank you, man.
Yes, sir.
Looking forward to doing it again in the future. Join you guys on your side or whatever, man.
Yes,
very excited to keep
100%.
building.
One more.
All right, so until Wednesday, where we'll be reviewing Real Madrid for Champions League action. Holy shit, we're saying that. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I don't know.
I think Orient's next, so we've got a week off now.
Orient next. I'm sorry. I am jumping my gun. Thank you, Luke, for correcting me. I'm jumping the gun. Leighton Orient at the weekend. It's on my fucking birthday. I'm not excited about that, by the way.
A week off's good, because honestly, today's result, I need a bloody week off, man, from this club. I really do.
Facts.
Big facts. Massive break. But yeah, until we see you Sunday. Wait, what day is it? It's Sunday today.
Today's Sunday. Fuck. We'll see you next time, whenever that
Wednesday.
Might be.
We'll see you next time. God damn it, man. It's just been that day. Leave you with this.